Hi!
Hi!
Welcome to Opening the Vault.
Following Mickey's footsteps, where we watch every single Disney animated feature in chronological order.
Today, we're going to be watching the third animated feature produced by Walt Disney,
Fantasia. Originally, Disney titled this the concert feature, thinking that it would be a traveling concert that would go from city to city. RKO, who distributed the films for Disney, didn't like the name the concert feature, so they suggested other things that didn't quite take either.
Fantasia was a name they kicked around during pre-production that just sort of stuck with everybody. Fantasia, the feature we know and love, came into being because Disney was producing an elaborate Silly Symphonies short starring Mickey called The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Mickey was due for a comeback, so he planned this elaborate Silly Symphonies short, which quickly grew over budget. So much so that Roy told Disney, hey, there's no way we can make any of this money back. So Disney decided, hey, why don't we make it a feature and feature all these segments set to music?
So put on your dapper duds and come with us as we watch Fantasia. All right.
There it was.
That's Fantasia.
All 2 hours and 4 minutes of it.
2 hours and 4 minutes.
This is the only Disney animated feature that reaches the 2 hour mark.
But it has a 15-minute intermission. Yeah.
All of the 8 musical segments that make up Disney's Fantasia are introduced and hosted by Deems Taylor, who...
Deems.
He was, I guess, a very esteemed music critic in the 40s. He likes to ramble on and on and on and on and on when introducing these segments.
So dry.
So
dry. Fun fact, while the music is actually recorded by the Philadelphia Philharmonic, conducted by Leopold Stokowski, the video of the musicians is done on a soundstage at Culver Studios here in Los Angeles with Hollywood musicians. So those aren't the actual musicians playing on the soundtrack. Those are just people filling in for visuals. Very Hollywood. Something else very fun about this is it's the only Disney animated feature without any credits.
That's right.
Even this card, this title card, happens during the intermission. The movie itself starts without any opening credits, unlike the previous Disney movies we've watched. And when it ends, it's just over. There's not even a hosted farewell. It just ends. The audience at the original screenings were actually given programs to said everybody that was in it in the filmmaking, everything you would at a concert or a theatrical event. They probably go for a whole lot on eBay if they
exist anymore. Most people who know random Disney trivia know that the sorcerer in The Sorcerer's Apprentice, his name is Yensid, Disney spelled backwards. What I didn't know when researching this was that Yensid is actually secretly modeled after Walt Disney. His little eyebrow twitches that he does was a characteristic of Walt when he was frustrated or displeased, and so the animators stuck that in as a little joke at their boss.
It's pretty fantastic.
It is.
They also were going to put in a smell-o-vision
type thing where they were going to try and put different types of incense or scents into the theater during different parts. But that idea gave birth to a lovely attraction at Disney World in the Magic Kingdom.
PhilharMagic.
PhilharMagic. There are very famously a couple of shots missing from the pastoral sequence. The scenes depict a stereotypically black centaur girl polishing the hooves of a white centaur girl, and also some other unpleasant racial stereotypes later on in the sequence. So those 4 shots were actually removed in the late 1960s. Directors of the time were saying how they were actually just appalled that those existed in the first place.
Part of me feels like for film preservation, it should have been left in, but since there's pretty much no other real bad stereotypes or anything like that in the film, it does kind of sully it a bit. So to just replace those shots with repeats, which do stand out, ultimately it's just a few seconds, and if it can make an uncomfortable subject go away or correct a problem that we see in our modern view, then whatever. It's like a couple frames. It's not even a second.
It doesn't thematically or plot-wise take away anything by removing those scenes.
Right. When we first turned this on, I was just like, yes, I remember
was
this. I watched this a ton as a kid. This is going to be great. But as we went through it, I realized there's only 4 or 5 segments I actually like of the 8.
Yeah.
I like Toccata and Fugue at the beginning where you see the orchestra and then the shapes and it gets kind of weird.
And in all honesty, when I was a kid, that was the part we would fast forward through the most. We thought that part was boring.
Nutcracker Suite.
Oh, we always liked that one.
Like that one. You got fairies. That's great.
Oh, yeah, the fairies.
Little mushroom guys.
I loved the little mushroom guys.
But really, and then Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah, we always liked that
Everyone
one.
likes Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's probably the universal favorite. Night on Bald Mountain is amazing.
Scared me.
I love it as a kid.
Scared me as a kid.
It's the only segment that's 2 different pieces of music from 2 different composers. You have Night on Bald Mountain and then Ave Maria. As a kid, once Bald Mountain was done, I would just turn it off. I wouldn't finish it and go to the end with Ave Maria because I was like, that's boring. I love Chernobog and Night on Bald Mountain. And that was it.
And Night on Bald Mountain used to scare me. Chernobog terrified me. So once it kind of got past all the ghosts rising out of the graves, we would turn it off. So I don't ever actually remember seeing the Ave Maria sequence until today.
Beethoven's pastoral sequence with
the
fawns
and the unicorns and the pegasi and
centaurs, and as Deems Taylor says, their girlfriends, the centaurettes. Hilarious. They're naked.
They are.
I remembered as a kid, I thought I was going to get in trouble watching that sequence because I really enjoyed that part of the sequence.
I didn't remember that part.
The only nipples in the whole movie, even though there's naked fairies and naked centaurs, is in Night of the Bald Mountain. The harpies have nipples because harpies are scary.
Horrifying. Those are terrifying. Harpies are scary, but their nipples are terrifying.
Off-puttingly terrifying.
Yes, and right up there, right in your face.
Definitely scary, not like the centaurs at all. I would say with Fantasia, you've probably seen it. I think most people of our generation have seen it.
Or at least the Sorcerer's Apprentice part of it.
I'd be totally happy just watching a couple sequences on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's Fantasia. You know what it is. And
you know what it is. You've probably seen it. So join us next week when we're going to watch the heartbreaking classic, Dumbo.
It's going to be tough, you guys.
Oh, man.
Watch it with us.
It's going to be brutal.
Yeah. We need your emotional support.
Please.
Dumbo.
Dumbo. So as they say in the parks,
have a magical day.